Okay. I want to talk about my take on Christianity. Here's my understanding of Christianity. I'm coming from an evolutionary approach, the psychological evolutionary approach. As I speak, please consider that my knowledge in both subjects is limited. In world history, we observe that humans used religion to reason the inexplicable. Why are the clouds moving? It's a higher power. In poetry, we do the same thing, but for inexplicable feelings. We use figurative language to describe and convey what we are feeling to others. And in that sense, figurative language functions as a bridge from the unexplainable to understanding. The shakiness of the bridge depends on the ambiguity of the figurative language. One wrong step, and one easily loses sight of the meaning. Try to apply that logic to the Bible. Adam and Eve were metaphors. Genesis describes how space, the world, and finally, how we were made. In relation to science, historically, the Bible begins with the Big Bang. Energy is being formed for the very first time in space, a surge of energy, a tiny ball of circulating energy. It's the building block to life. What is the sun? A huge giant ball of plasma, heat that radiates energy back onto the earth, and the earth consumes that energy. Life started in the ocean. A tiny, unseen microorganism fed off of the heat vents coming from the bottom of the ocean. And that is God's first attempt at creating a human. God understood what had happened because he made it happen. I see God, our creator, as an engineer, a coder. The Big Bang happened, and that was him creating laws of physics, which everything natural, though simple, can be explained under physics. Thus, that was the first science of the world he created. I'd say to provide stability. God put something into nothingness, though with an idea in mind. As a game creator myself, there is absolute nothingness, and then you press new, a blank slate. I think of when I would try to create a game on Roblox. I was given an empty space. Then I could choose whether to put land, next what to put on that land, after, if-then statements to provide law. Humans have a distinct creation process, each to their own, though all uniquely similar. We do trial and error because God, he tried and readjusted as fit. After all, we are made in God's image. Let's go back to the microorganism absorbing heat from the ocean floor. They have no thought. They're purely DNA. DNA is a set of instructions for any living being, often referenced as the organism's code. And so, this code was the first line of simple code for his sprite, which he called life. And it did as he intended, but he wanted more, so he readjusted. One line at a time. At times, even a single one or zeros at a time. That was until God created humans. Other primates' intelligence is to an extent. They can peel bananas with their hands. They can call out to their brethren. They can grieve. They're logical, social, and emotional. And that deems them intelligent? So, if this is the baseline for intelligence, why are there unintelligent people? The sympathetic system is a network of nerves that automatically responds to fear. The heartbeat quickens, digestion slows, the adrenal glands release, and symptoms such as sweaty palms occur. All vertebrates have a sympathetic system. We evolved this nervous system to aid in escaping or fighting off perceived threats. After the perceived threat is handled, the parasympathetic nervous system activates, calming the body. In short, we use fear to survive. Survival is the baseline for intelligence. And humans, we possess the ultimate skill, thought. The human ability to rationalize enables us to activate the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems manually. We have the choice not to act like our other primates, who become hostile with fear. This is incredible. That's really crazy, I think. The choice God gave us was not between sin and good, but between survival and creation. God is a creator. We were made in his image. We were made to create. The choice God gave us was not between sin and good, but between survival and creation, respectively. God is a creator. We were made in his image. We were made to create. Working all your bodily systems beyond their base level means is living beyond mere survival. Choosing only to cling to survival is sin. It is actively choosing to ignore God's will, since he called you to create. He liked our final code. And then he's given us the ultimate power to tweak our code, even in the slightest. It's hard it's hard to be close to God because we find it uncomfortable to leave our primitive instincts telling us to survive. Not only until we rationalize that it's not just about surviving, not only in the mind but also the body, can we make it across the Bible's bridge. Though making it across the bridge, you look up to notice that there's an entire mountain ahead. The peak soars to an unreachable height, and I call it the mountain of wisdom. God is three: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. How can you get close to all of them? That is not actually the question, but how can you achieve wisdom? From a psychological lens, wisdom starts with emotional depth. What are they feeling? Next, an acceptance of life's complexity. It's okay that they feel this way. After that, compassion towards oneself and others. Understandably, they feel this way. Lastly, the ability to learn and grow from suffering. They learn to live with this in a way that brings peace and meaning. Wisdom is not something one is born with, but something to be built upon. It's often painful, and it manifests in how you respond to life, not just how you understand it. Wisdom is working with God, his three. Galatians 5:22-23 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." The Spirit speaks to you through your emotions, alarming that it's hungry for the fruit. You're crying, your lips are quivering, and your chest feels tight. That is the Spirit. Next step, it is acknowledgement and reflection. I am sad. That is when you talk to the Father and explain to him what is happening. I'm disappointed that I failed my test. And he consoles you. It's okay. You're bound to make mistakes. Although that test mattered to you. That's why you feel hurt. Lastly, you must behave like the Son. Jesus would set aside more time to study. So shall I. All is well. And that's a step. It's a step up the mountain. That's also something to celebrate, even if it feels small. And that's why God needs you to rejoice, because you have one, even if it feels small. Understanding a little bit of psychology and the Bible made me realize that I lack emotional intelligence. I'm unsure of how to manage my emotions. I struggle with wisdom, and that pulls me very far away from God. I am stuck in fear, running on survival, and I'm still behind the bridge. Well, that's my understanding of Christianity. I'm actually interested in others too, and how theirs relate to mine. So I want to share this out to everyone and see how they feel too.